The Utah Mammoth is sorta proud to present NASHCAST.
What the is a NASHCAST?
NASHCAST, the only hockey show on the planet. Hosted by a human speed bag, fourth line wannabe, healthy scratch, schnozzy moto, Tyson Nash.
Who the hell is Tyson Nash?
Never heard of him.
And the baritone with a brain, the velvet hammer, Mr. Silky, Tono Suave, the radio voice of your Utah Mammoth,
Code Blue!
Mike Foltz.
Oh, Captain, my Captain!
NASHCAST begins now.
Ready for takeoff.
Here's Tyler Ganoush and Mickey Foghorn. Wait, what? Oh, here's Tyson Nash and Mike Foltz.
Feeling good, Foltz. Holy, where are you? Look, is that your bedroom? Is that above your bed right now? Like, I see you got a Cole jersey, an O'Brien jersey, a Vamelka down low. I mean, you are a super fan. You are a legitimate. Oh, you got Hayton and Krause. You are the biggest jock sniffer I know. Like, I absolutely love it, buddy. Like, endless.
This
is
my shrine. This is my shrine. No, this is at the Sandy practice facility, Nasher. This is part of the renovation here. This is like a cool display. They have all the inaugural Utah Hockey Club players, like anybody who played in the game is on this wall here. And I got my good buddies Liam O'Brien, Ian Cole would be here, but this place is unreal. They're finishing it right now. The Philadelphia Flyers are about to practice in here, wow. And we try to get as many other teams in as possible to see this thing.
Yes.
So we're trying to show it off, and we've talked a lot about the practice facility, but now that it's like starting to get cleaned up a little bit, it looks even better than what we had seen like from the renderings. Because when we had first walked in, it was just like a war zone, right? Construction everywhere. Well, now it's dynamite, and can't wait to be playing beer league hockey games a few feet from here, mucking it up at 10:30 on a Tuesday night, going DAPS 4 in my D5 men's league game. But
hey, Foltz, don't ruin that pretty face. I hope you wear a visor or something. Like,
no,
dude, you're looking fresh right now. I just want to say to all our female followers, this guy, look at how good he's looking. Like, you look fresh. The eyes are popping right now. He's got a shrine in the back. I mean, you got all your Utah stuff. He is single. Mike Foltz is single, ladies and gentlemen. So he is single. DM us for any sort of interest with Foltz, because he is the most eligible bachelor in Salt Lake City. So he's getting red now too. He's getting the furnace face like Lindy Ruff right now. Lindy Ruff. So anyway, hey, the Flyers are there, and a backstory is apparently they don't really have a practice facility. They just bounce around in Philadelphia at some of the local arenas. So I think this is huge for their organization as well, to kind of see what, Utah is all about, and the buzz around the league, what they're doing, just everything, right? First class. So they're seeing it front and center. I'm sure they're poking around, trying to get some ideas for their own practice facility, because now this is the bar, right? The bar has been set in Utah, and it is awfully, awfully high. So love to see it. If you see Trevor Zegras walking around, please say hello to him for me, because I did Amazon Prime not too long ago. The guy wouldn't even look at me. He wouldn't even look at me. I thought we would finally make amends, me and Zegras, and at some point we're going to have him on the show. I promise you, I'm going to do my best to get him on the show, just so we can break bread again and sing Kumbaya and hug it out, because I really do like the kid. I really do. He's got a ton of swagger. In fact, he actually reminds me a little of myself when I was back in the day, right? The hair, not the talent, Foltz. Don't stroke out over there. Not the talent, not the hands, not the boots, but just how he kind of carries himself. But anyway, so, hey, tell me what's going on. Utah, I'm seeing so much good stuff. I haven't been there. I'm so jealous. They're in the playoff picture. They're more than in the playoff picture. They have taken a stranglehold of a spot. They've won, 3 straight. Karel Vamelka's on a heater right now. He was 3rd star of the week. So everything right now is going well for the Utah Mammoth.
Now, Vamelka's been unreal. You mentioned getting the league honors, tied for a career-long 6-game win streak heading into Wednesday's game against Philadelphia. He's playing some of his best hockey, and the Mammoth have been winning close games. They've been winning by a lot. They've been winning in different ways, Tyson, which to me is the most encouraging, because even when they're not at their best, they're still able to get the result. And now they have points in 7 straight games. You mentioned them getting into that first wild card spot, and the schedule has turned dramatically in Utah's favor the last few weeks. It's opened up for the Mammoth, but it's also kind of been some tough scheduling spots for other teams that are coming into the Delta Center. Maybe they're on a back-to-back or they're on the end of a long road trip, and Utah's been able to take advantage. So exciting times to be a Mammoth fan. Everybody's contributing, Nasher. It's lines 1 through 4. It's the big boys. It's the depth guys. It's that you're getting great production offensively from the defense without sacrificing your own zone. And we got to talk about Utah's second pair, Nasher. Nate Schmidt, John Marino. GM Bill Armstrong trades for John Marino. Same day he gets Mikhail Sergachev during the draft, 2024. So start of the inaugural season, that off campaign. Then he signs Nate Schmidt in free agency this year. We're like, okay, good depth defenseman, right? He was part of a Stanley Cup winning team. Nasher. These two guys combined as a pair, they have the highest plus minus out of any pair, any line in the league. Now, I know plus minus, it is what it is, right? It's certainly not the end all be all. But you would have thought that somebody on Colorado or Dallas or one of the top teams would have had the highest rating, but no, it's Utah's second D pair, John Marino and Nate Schmidt. How about that?
Isn't Marino like plus 31? I mean, and to your point, that's a great point, because a lot of GMs and the situation that Utah is in, that's what Bill has to start doing and doing more of it, right? I just did the game last night in Toronto, and it was the Wild versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Minnesota Wild absolutely laid a beatdown. I mean, a beatdown on the Leafs, and they were a team that you just talked about. Schedule's been brutal. They're getting hit with it right now. But Bill Guerin, you look at what this guy did. So not the draft, just like Bill Armstrong, but he brings in Quinn Hughes through a trade. And they also have Faber through a trade as well, right? So these are two guys that they brought into their organization that are like probably next to Makar and Taves, maybe the two best other pairing in the entire National Hockey League. So it's not always by the draft. That's why there's no stone unturned for these general managers out there, always trying to make their team better. And Bill Armstrong has done a wonderful job. Nate Schmidt, ton of personality. Not only is he good in the locker room, on the ice, behind the scenes, team parties, he's putting up massive points. He had a 4-point night. You were talking before we taped his interview with Sarah Merrifield, and just so much personality, right? And that's what we want to see more of. That's why we do these podcasts and we have the players on, because you want to introduce the players to the fans for what these guys really are. And that's just unbelievable humans.
And we had Nate Schmidt on before the start of the year. He was an unreal interview, and he did not disappoint during his first star interview at the Delta Center on Saturday night with Sarah. It's funny, Nasher, because the game before, his D partner, John Marino, did the interview. Like, the interview on the bench, the first star interview. So Sarah's kitten. It's all supposed to be raw stuff, right? It's in front of the crowd. And Sarah asked John Marino, like, a very fair question, like, hey, what, the goal that you scored, take us through that play. And John literally says, I shoot, it goes in. Like that's his line. That's his answer. And then the next game, you have Nate Schmidt coming in just like out of this world. Oh, Saturday night in Utah. Where else would you rather be than right?
Oh, dude, I love it. Like,
yeah.
Isn't it fun?
It was so much fun.
It's so much fun when the team is on fire.
Winning is fun.
Yeah, isn't it? And it's been a long, long time since this team. I can't remember the last time this team has been in this position at this time of year. I'll leave that for you at some point break it down for us. But I can't imagine it's been any time in the last dozen years that this team has been so high up in the standings. They put themselves in a real good spot going into the Olympic break.
Yeah, I would have to go back and look to see. I mean, we still have 8 games left before the Olympic break, right? So there's still a lot of work to be done. Game tonight, if you're watching this on Wednesday, game tonight against Philly. That's a big one.
You sound like a coach.
Talk about Philly real quick.
You sound like a coach, Foltz. You're giving me goosebumps. There's still lots of work to be done. We got 8 games. It means nothing. I love it. You should be giving the speech before that Philly game, buddy.
We just got done with practice. We're listening to Bear, all that stuff. And like, if you've ever asked Bear a question about the future or, a large swath of games, he is going to tell you, we've got a job to do tonight. I'm worried about the next game, right? So that's kind of, I guess, like leaking into my brain now as well. But Nasher, how about Philly? Like, they've been up and down a little bit this year, but in the mix more so than what people thought. And your old buddy Trevor Zegras has been right in the middle of it, under Rick Tocchet, no less. I don't think a lot of people saw that marriage as one
Taco.
that was going to go the
He calls him Taco. Rick Taco.
Yeah. And Tockett's getting asked about it in interviews now. I mean, it's unreal. Like, when you saw that go through, the trade from Anaheim to Philly, like, what were your thoughts on that?
I was like, oh boy. Like, are you kidding me? This guy's been in California, living the life on the beach. I mean, I can't imagine, how much he was tearing it up in that town. Now you're going to Philadelphia, which is completely opposite, right? Like, you think of the guys that played there. Rick Tocchet epitomizes what the Flyers are all about. The Broad Street Bullies, all of it. Then you bring this high flash, high talent, skilled, cocky kid into Philadelphia. But I'll give Toc this. He doesn't care. He's a player's coach. He really is. And he wants to have Zegras elevate his game, find his game again, because he completely lost it in Anaheim. And Trevor Zegras, I don't know if you saw a couple nights ago, he scored 2 goals against the Ducks. And he picked up the phone and he hangs it up. He's like, that's how quick the phone call was with Pat Verbeek when he literally called him and told him he was traded. He's basically like, all right, beat it. Thank God I'm out of here. See you later. Philadelphia, I'm coming. And boy, has he ever. And it's been a great trade, really, for both hockey clubs. You look at Cutter Gauthier, what he's doing there. I think all eyes were on that game. He scored in that game. Zegras scored twice. But you're right. Rick Tocchet has turned the Philadelphia Flyers literally around overnight, a lot like Joel Quenneville has done in Anaheim. I know Anaheim struggled as of late, but they're going to find their game once again. They're just way too good, way too fun to watch, so much young talent. So the NHL, again, as a whole, it's never been in a better spot. And you look at Utah, a new team, second year in the league. If they could just get through these next 8 games, if they could pull off 6 of, I don't know how many points. Like, what do you get? 10 points of the...
Don't make Tyson do math. Don't make him do math here. Come on.
See the smoke coming out? I got my shoes off. My fingers are going. Whatever. They just need to go in hot to the Olympic break. I'll leave the math to you, but they are on an absolute heater right now.
Well, just kind of thinking about league storylines, did you see the goalie fight between Alex Nedeljkovic of San Jose for Bobrovsky for the Panthers? Like, my favorite part of that, and I didn't even see how it started, but I just saw the clip. My favorite part of that is when the camera jump cuts from the fight to the San Jose bench, and it looks like a Dunkelkin with all the young Sharks players like just going absolutely nuts on the bench.
And Florida was the same way. The crowd in Florida was going berserk. And what I love best about it was, first of all, it's Bobrovsky. The guy's the best goalie in the National Hockey League, back-to-back Stanley Cups, and he flies down the ice, and he keeps his mask on. And he just comes in there chucking, right? So the San Jose goaltender, he chucks a few punches, but Bobrovsky's still got his bucket on. He's still got his mask on. So he kind of eats a few. And Paul Maurice And everybody, as far as the management in Florida, is literally crapping their pants because they're like, don't break your hand. Don't get hurt. Are you kidding me? So I loved it. It's the best part of our game still. I'll say it till the day I die. Fighting is going nowhere because the fans absolutely love it. It's what makes our game so great. It separates us from the rest of the pack because you can fight. You fight, you get 5 minutes, you're right back in the game. I mean, Bobrovsky came back a few minutes later and finished the game out. So it was insane. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Were you on the ice? Were you ever on the ice for a goalie fight?
Oh yeah. I think I saw Sean Burke beat the bag off of somebody one night. Anyway, I love goalie fights is the bottom line. And I love all the young talent in our game today, and Utah is stacked with it. So that's kind of news around the league. I don't know if you want to touch on anything else. I know Nate Schmidt had a 4-point night the other night. We talked about that. Karel Vejmelka. But for me, this interview that we had with Derek Parra, this is a guy, Foltz, that you've seen him around the Oval last year. He runs the show over there. He is a speed skater. This guy's 5'4", 150 pounds, right? And he won a gold medal and a silver medal at the 2002 Olympics in Salt Lake when the Olympics were there. He cannot wait for 2034. We talked a lot about that. We also talked, I cannot wait for people. This is one of those interviews you're like, yeah, sure, I'll do this interview. It's kind of cool. Like, guy, is a medalist, all that stuff. But he completely knocked my socks off. I wish you were here for it because you would have been blown away as well. This guy was so poor. He's eating out of garbage bins, right? Because he can't afford food, right? Growing up, he was raised in San Bernardino, California. And he was a complete underdog at his size. Imagine his size. He had an Olympic record for I don't know how many years in the 1500 meter, which he was the number one in the world at 5'4". Then he wins a silver medal for the 5,000 meter. Like, imagine that. I mean, little legs. He's built like a fire hydrant, clearly. But how do you skate that fast at that size with some of the monsters that they have in that event, right? It's incredible. The guy's story, I had goosebumps. He was crying. I was literally crying in the interview. I think everybody, our producer, Adam, Lily in the background, we were all on the verge of tears hearing this guy's story about what it felt like to hear that national anthem when he's on the podium looking around and just everything that this guy has went through. He epitomizes scratching and clawing and adversity and battling through it.
Wow. Well, let's not waste any time, Nasher. Can't wait for this one with Olympic gold and silver medalist Derek Parra.
Feeling good. Holy, am I excited for this one? This is huge. We have had some gold medalists, some silver medalists on the show before, but only in team sports. Today, we have an individual gold and silver medalist welcoming us today, Derek Parra. This is a guy and a journey, and what a story. This guy it's all about belief, right? It's about sacrifice. It's about work ethic, scratching and clawing. Anything is possible. So kids, if you're listening at home, anything really is impossible. You can do anything, bottom line. And this guy epitomizes all that. He won a gold medal in the 1500 meter in speed skating in 2002 in our hometown, Salt Lake, Utah. And he also won a silver medal in the 5,000 meter. It was incredible. I didn't see it live. I've seen it before, and it is unbelievable. So, Derek Parra, welcome to the show, my friend. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me. I love the intro there.
Oh, how do you not? I didn't see that live, but again, it is just remarkable. I mean, you're a guy that's from San Bernardino, California. I don't know how you grew up, if it was rollerblade. I don't even know if it was rollerblading. I think it was roller skating is how you got into, I guess, kind of the sport, but just kind of talk to us about your journey, how you got into it. I mean, I know you're not a big guy either, so you'd think that speed skaters would be big guys, but you're not a big guy, and you won and literally did it all.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the stereotypical speed skater, especially if you look back at 20 some years ago in 2002. Majority of the skaters were all 6 foot or above. I'm 5'4", 142 pounds back then. The guys are just bigger, stronger. longer. But I came from roller skating, like you said, quad skates, the disco skates we call them. I grew up in Southern California, and I was as a kid, I was just a normal kid, Mexican American. Parents were divorced, and my dad would go to work, and I was always trying to figure out something fun to do. And one night, my brother's friend from down in the neighborhood went to a roller rink. My brother came back, talked about how cool it was. I wanted to be like him. I begged him to take me, and about a month later, my dad finally took us, and I was hooked. I entered one race. The prize was for a free ticket in the snack bar, and but I was hooked being out there on skates, racing with kids my age. And at that point, my only goal was to try to win a ticket.
Wow. So what was that like? I mean, you make the transition, right, from rollerblading, which can't be anything. I mean, anything alike. Rollerblading would be something else, but roller skating, right? I don't know if I said roller skating, but roller skating. That's right. You got four wheels. I mean, I've done it before. I used to do it to go pick up girls back in the day when I was a young kid, right? The old snowball. You'd have the tight white pants on, and oh my God, all I remember is taking those roller skates off and being like, oh my God, that feels so good. Like, because the skates, they hurt so bad. But what was that transition like? I mean, you went from that to actually skating on the ice, and then you throw on skates because the speed skates are that much bigger and longer, right? But the blades are like way longer.
Yeah, there's a lot of difference between the skates. I mean, when you go to a quad skate, you had a high heel, right? You had an adjustable toe stop and four wheels, and the trucks would turn as you lean your boot. Inline skates were a big change because it's a bladed skate. Felt completely different, but they were much faster just because the wheels were in line. There was more surface contact, and it changed our sport in the 90s, early 90s. But going to ice skates, that was a big change because you're on a stiff carbon boot. It's a little bit lower, and you've got a skate blade with a radius in the bottom, and the blades are bent towards a turn. So there were all these different nuances about the sport I didn't know about. I just thought it was a piece of steel in the bottom of a shoe, and you skated fast. But it was far from that. It took me about 6 years to kind of go from being number one in the world on inline skates, coming into the sport of ice skating, going down to the very rock bottom, and then climbing my way back up to winning a gold medal here in 2002.
Because wasn't there, I read somewhere that you were like racing against whoever, but I mean, there was girls, 14-year-old girls that were beating you back in the day. Like, how did you stick with it? How did you just go, no, I'm going to figure this out. I got it. I mean, there had to have been some days when you're like, this ain't worth it. I'm not ready for the Olympics. I'm not going to the Olympics. A lot of self-doubt, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, but it was kind of part of my story. If you look at every stage of my career, when I went into roller skating, I got into the roller skating at 14. That's pretty old at that time for kids that were racing. But I had a passion for it. I loved it. I probably wasn't the prettiest thing out there to watch, but I had a lot of, just desire and strength. I mean, you could see how hard I was working. It wasn't until I found a guy named Virgil Dooley, who ended up being my coach. I saw him at a national event. I got beat again, and he came up and said, I think you have some talent. You have a lot of heart, but you don't really know how to race or skate. So I moved at 17 to Florida. And this guy was my Mr. Miyagi. He taught me everything about the sport, taught me how to start, turn, everything, train. And that became really the foundation for me moving on to ice, because I had figured out how to do that sport at a later age. I got into ice skating at 26, and that's really old. I mean, I was number one ranked in the world on roller skates, hoping that Atlanta in 96 would include roller sports as an Olympic sport. It didn't. So I made a switch to ice. And then you're right. I came to my first race in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I was paired against a boy, not a girl, but a boy, 14 years old. His name was Tucker Fredericks. Skinny little kid. He probably weighed 98 pounds or 100 pounds. And I was literally coming off the inline skates as number one, the fastest man in the world, winning the shortest distance. And this little kid smoked me and skated away from me. And I couldn't believe what was going on. But at that point, I knew it was a completely different sport. I had to learn how to skate. The problem was I had about a year and a half before the 98 games to figure it out. So it's not a lot of time to break things down. I was just trying to do what I could to try to skate at that speed. But yeah, one of my worst races, I made a World Cup team a year later, but one of my worst races that I went out 32-second laps and finished at 46-second laps at a World Cup outdoors. People were laughing at me. My own teammates were laughing at me. Wow. I was embarrassed, ashamed. I wanted to quit, but I didn't want to go home with my tail tucked to my legs. I thought I had the talent and the ability. and the mindset to make this change. I just needed time. But unfortunately, that window of opportunity was slowly closing because I was 26, 28, 30. I mean, I kept getting older. Skaters were getting younger, and I had less time before '02 to figure this thing out. But thankfully, I was able to.
Wow, you certainly were, because you went on in 2002 to win the 1,500 meters. I mentioned the gold medal, by the way, 5,000 meters. So the gold, like the training that goes into this. I mean, again, you're not a big guy. So how were you able to be so fast out there, because you don't have that stride length, right? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I watched at the Utah Mammoth last year, the practice rink was at the Oval, and oftentimes you'd see them buzzing around, and you're just like, man, these guys are like absolute animals. Their legs are so muscly and strong, and you're like, I wonder if I could keep up. So one day we might have to strap them on, and I'll wear my ice skates, and maybe you'll wear the speed skates, and you can blow the doors right off of me. But what's the training like for you? What goes into it? I mean, what doesn't go into it? I mean, there has to be the mental aspect, and then obviously the physical.
I think physically, it's the difference from inlining was that we rode our bikes a lot, we skated a lot outdoors, that kind of thing. But there's a lot of resistance that comes with ice skating. Your blade's in the ice, and it actually feels like the equivalent of like doing a one leg squat of 200 pounds on one leg every time you go through a turn at high speed, because you're locked in the ice and you're pushing your body away from your skate. Inlining was more like running on a flat surface. You touch the ground for a split second as your skates are rolling away, and you're trying to create friction. So it's a little different. But we bike ride, we run, we jump, we do weights. I didn't do a lot of weights as an inline skater, but when I came to the ice, they put me in the weight room. And I tell you, Tyson, I went from being 126 pounds at 26 years old when I came to the sport to being 150 pounds at 27, almost 28 years old when I was in the sport for a year. I was squatting 450. I was just this tree.
Like a fire hydrant.
Yeah, pretty much. But you know what? I couldn't skate fast. No one was teaching me how to skate correctly, technically. And no one really knew, I think, from the crossover process from inline to ice. It looks like skating, looks the same, but it wasn't. There's a different timing and push. I tell people it's like throwing a ball overhand or underhand. Destination's the same, but technique's different. So I was having to learn how to break everything down and put it back together and how I could skate my fastest. And I got out of the weight room. I lost about 10 pounds, got back to 142. And my biggest workout, my main workout, my cornerstone workout, I put a 40-pound weight vest on and was doing all these exercises that simulated the skating motion so that I could learn it more. Because most skaters learn how to skate. They were just getting strong in the weight room. I had to learn how to skate. So side extensions, one leg jump, lateral jumps, vertical jumps, everything with a 40-pound weight vest on. And it took about 4 hours to complete a workout off and on with different intermediate jumps and laps and running. And to me, that kind of was accelerated my curve and learning how to skate and more importantly, being strong in that position. And then I had the tenacity of myself, just, being goal oriented and trying to be my best. I had a lot of great people around me who at times when I couldn't afford to keep skating, offered me a job, or I wasn't eating out of trash cans anymore at McDonald's like I was when I was an inline skater trying to make it. People were letting me landscape their yard, or my landlord let me rescreen all the screens at the apartment complex because I was working at Home Depot and knew how to screen. So he'd take money off my rent if I rescreened all the windows. So things like that. I had so many people in my corner over the years. It was such a community behind me. And so that, along with my tenacity, helped me just continue to plug away over years to give myself an opportunity to win that gold.
Oh, again, what a story. I mean, that's the journey, right? The adversity that you went through. And it was a lot like me. I was playing pro hockey in the American Hockey League in Syracuse, New York, making 30,000 Canadian when the exchange rate was like, I don't know what it was, $1.40 or $1.50. I had to deliver pizzas in the off season when I wasn't playing to make extra money. And it just makes you appreciate it that much more. But one more question just about the technical side of it. You watch these guys and they go around the track, same as, race car drivers, and they go the same way, the same turn all the time. How does that affect your body and your training when, you're just crossing over the same way every time? I mean, your left leg or your right leg, I don't know which one it is. I mean, has to be a lot, less, strong and size wise and all those things.
Yeah, I think we do a lot of, we're racing always the same direction. But in my career, I knew the importance of being kind of balanced. So if I did something to the right, I did to the left. I didn't skate to the left, or sorry, skate going the wrong direction. But all of my dryland exercises, turn cable, which is resistance cable, crossing over, I always did the equal amount left and right to stay balanced, because most skaters do not get injured from the impact of a crash. It's overuse injuries. Just from going the same direction, doing the same thing, your arms, your shoulders, your legs, your knees. So I try to be really conscious of that in my career, both on inlines and on ice skates. And it helped me skate. I mean, I was 36 when I retired. I won at 32, which is pretty late for a skater. But I think a lot of that had to do with my appreciation of keeping my body balanced and treating it right, rather than some of these, 18-year-olds that come in here and jog a lap and get on the ice and just go hard because they can. It was an hour warm up. I stretched out. I mean, I did everything I had to in order to preserve my body as long as I could to be able to race at that level.
What's the average age, and what are the injuries like? I know in hockey it's a lot of groins, it's a lot of hip flexors, hamstrings. I mean, what do you guys deal with on the speed skating aspect?
There's a lot of back injuries, like lower back from lifting a lot of weights, right? Like I tell you, I was squatting 450. I didn't like that on my back, and in your back, the posture lifting weights is opposite than skating. You're typically tucking your hips under when you skate, and you're arching your back kind of to keep your spinal in alignment when you're doing squats. So back injuries are a big thing. You do get some knees here and there from all the jumping and and the movements laterally with your knees. Sometimes you get some neck injuries because you're always looking up in that position. If you do have any impact injuries, it's concussions from the pads if you crash, or you might cut yourself with your blade in a training race or in a race. But a lot of it's just overuse, like years and years and years of crossing the same direction or pushing the same way. And some hip joints once in a while, people get some hip issues later in life because they're extending. Your leg isn't meant to go to the side, right? It's meant to go, back or forward and back. And so I'm sure with hockey, it's the same thing. And I'm surprised there isn't more impact injuries with hockey, because I play on 2 adult league hockey teams in my venue here. I have zero. I have maybe 1 goal, 2 goals, but I got tons of assists. I can get to the puck quickly, smother the guy, and pass to someone who can play. But I am always amazed at the skill that with the stick and a puck that the players have. They're not fast, but they can out-juke me just by what they can do with the puck. Because I'm following the puck, and next thing you know, they're going left, I'm going right, and they're shooting. So I've been very impressed with a hockey player's skill over the years after retiring from speed skating.
I got to ask you, so like Connor McDavid, we call him Connor McJesus. I mean, just because of how fast this guy is. But really, I mean, I think his top speed is, I don't even think he hits 24 miles an hour. What do you, I mean, you had the record, I mean, in the 1500 meter, I think for a long, long time. What and how fast are you guys skating?
Well, my average speed when I set the world record back in 2002 for a mile, that's the metric mile, 1500 meter, was an average of 36 miles an hour for a mile. The top speed that a sprinter will go in a 500 meter, which is the shortest distance, it's a lap and a quarter, they'll get close to 40 miles an hour out of the turn, and then they start to decelerate. But I can tell you with all honesty, we can skate that fast because we don't have a stick and a puck in our hand. If you put a stick and puck in my hand, I don't know if I can go 24 miles an hour, because I would probably leave the puck behind me. So there is some validity to Connor going 24 and being able to shoot the puck at that speed. But to see the guys, they were here last year. We were watching them all the time. I was very impressed with the amount of torque they had in their body into the skate, and the way the skate sounded as they were carving through and accelerating. And the best sessions to watch were those black on white sessions where they were going at it. And it was like a pickup hockey game with professional athletes. And those are the most fun because they were doing crazy tricks and passing to each other. But the amount of acceleration they had was pretty impressive, I have to tell you.
Yeah, for hockey, you can't skate, you can't play. I mean, I know a lot of hockey players. Scott Niedermayer, one of the best players to ever play our game, just because of how efficient he was and powerful. And I don't know if his top speed was, as fast as a Connor McDavid, but it was certainly up there. He figure skated a ton. I mean, does that correlate speed skating to hockey? I mean, would you recommend that for a young hockey player trying to be an NHL player?
Well, I think there's a lot of crossover between each sport. So I can tell you that we've coached kids that have taken figure skating, and they're very aware of their edges, their edge work. So they become good hockey players because they know how to control a skate. I've had hockey players come into speed skating, open up faster than anybody I know, but they get to turn and can't turn because it's a different skate. Because you have to actually spend time on your blade while it's carving. And in hockey, you're turning your skate as it's carving quicker, and you're accelerating because you only want to go 6 feet to the puck, maybe 20 meters at most, and you're kind of slowing down. Where we're trying to skate 400 meters and get up to speed and maintain our speed. It's a little bit different chasing to a puck rather than trying to get a faster time by building your lap. So I think all sports kind of help each other out. But I know we've had hockey players that come over that are very sprinty and explosive. You just got to teach them to be more efficient. Figure skaters go into hockey. They're good. I mean, yeah, they're good with edge work. But speed skaters going to hockey, we just chase the puck, man. That's all we do. We get the puck, we cough it up, and we give it to somebody else.
I love that you play beer league. I mean, those guys must be like, are you kidding me? Who is this animal out here? I mean, you're hard on the forecheck. Maybe don't have the best hands. Either did I. And I was not a big guy, certainly. But as far as the events go, I mean, I did a lot of track and field when I was a kid growing up, and I was like a quarter horse. I was short and hard, right? I love the 100 meter. I love the 200 meter max, but you won the gold medal in the 1500 meter. I mean, and then the 5000 meter, that's just gross to me because it's almost like a sprint, but not a sprint and the 1500 meter literally probably is a sprint, right? With skates on.
Nowadays it is. It's more, they consider more of a middle distance. It's called the champions race. It's where the sprinters and the distance skaters meet. But these days now it's the sports science of speed skating has gotten so good over the last 20 years that it is more of a sprint. People are able to hang on longer, but there's a big technique piece that goes with every distance. I know guys that are super powerful, but can't put their power into the ice in a sprint race. So they're more of a middle distance skater because it gives them 1,000 meters, gives them more time to think about what they're doing. A 1,500 meter gives you more time as well. But at one point, it's a breaking point, and you can't go a 5,000 meter if you're a power sprinter. Same way on the other direction, we have guys that are super fit that can't sprint because it takes them a long time to get their body weight over their skate in order to load up and to push. I had in inline skating, at the world championship level, I'd won every distance from 300 meters all the way up to a marathon. So I was very versatile, but technically on ice skates, I had the power and wattage in all of our tests to be a sprinter, but I didn't technically. So 1,000, I was probably 32nd in the world in the 500, 8th in the world in the 1,000, first in the world in the 1,500, second in the world in the 5,000, and then back to like 16th or 18th in the 10K, because there's a different technique and efficiency for each distance. And the ones that are like a Jordan Stolz right now, who's the man to watch from the American side in the world, he can potentially medal in the 500, 1,500, 1,000. And if he wanted to, he could skate the 5K. He's done pretty well. Right now, he could get 3 medals for sure, and then a mass start medal because of his speed and endurance. So he's definitely one to watch in the next games.
First in the world and second in the world. I mean, that's remarkable. Now, let me ask you, I know JJ Peterka was a speed skater back in the day, which is just incredible. And hockey, because it's mental, right? It's so mental. Everyone can skate. Everyone can shoot. Everyone can handle the puck. Everyone can make a play for the most part. I think hockey is probably 80% mental and 20% skill. What would you say about speed skating? What gives out first? What's the toughest thing for a speed skater? Is it the mental, and how much does that play going into it?
I think mental is huge, especially at the elite level, because you go to the Olympics, right? And there's probably 5 skaters that can legitimately win, but it's the one who believes they can win, and more importantly, the one who executes the best. I made some mistakes in my 1,500 meter, and I skated well, but I made some mistakes. And for me, it was about executing where to enter the turn, how to exit, my economy in the race, because you can't go out full board for 1,500 meters to go. You had to kind of build yourself into the race. And actually, everybody has a physiology as well. I knew that if I went out slow or fast, I would drop 1 second and 1.5 seconds in the second and third lap. So it made sense to me to go out hard. But if I went out too hard and didn't relax in my skating and worked too hard for the speed, I would blow up and disintegrate with 1 lap to go. So to me, it was all about those checkpoints in the race. that allowed me to maintain my efficiency, maintain my speed, and the strength for the last lap. So it is pretty mental because the physical work's done by the time you get to start line, but it's who can control that piece as you're racing at your top end.
Well, I know for hockey, everyone sees the end result, right? They see the games, right? There's 18,000 people cheering you on. The Olympics, the same thing. No one understands the work, right? The grind that you guys go through on the daily. That's also the mental, right? Going to the gym. And what's it like? I know for a hockey player, we train probably 5 days a week, hard. What is it like for a speed skater? Is it every day? When do you guys take days off? When do you push and when do you pull back?
We have a program that's throughout the year. It's a progressive program, periodization. So we'll have our summer months. I usually, with my team, when I coach them, is about 12 weeks of just aerobic training. You're doing long bike rides. You're doing strength in the position. You're doing some stuff in the weight room, just kind of technical stuff, but trying to build your specific strength and endurance. Then you get about 6 to 9 weeks in the middle of the season where you're hitting some intensive endurance, more intervals, touching the speed, building those anaerobic systems. And then the end of the season is all about speed and recovery. So we're racing hard and we're still doing some like low volume workouts and some intervals that aren't quite as intense. But the weekends, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, are just full board trying to execute and be familiar with executing in that distance that you want. So it is the day after day, the cycle of weights, running, skating, biking, day offs, that kind of thing, watching your energy output. So make sure you're not digging yourself a hole. But I think what's really hard, like in golf, or even if we relate to hockey again, you are trying to control this puck on your stick, right? I've seen, so Hillary Knight's out here. She comes out and trains at times. I see her do some stuff with the stick. I'm like, are you kidding me? Do it again. And she'll do it again. And she's so skilled that she picked up a puck one time, flipped it up in the air, caught it, kind of juggled it on her stick, threw it up, kicked it with her foot, it went back up in the air. She catches it with her stick, puts it down, goes through a couple of cones, and then shoots and scores on the net. And I laughed because it looked so like a circus trick. Do it again. And she's like, okay, does it again. And she was at, even seeing her with the pro men out here when the Mammoth was out here training. She was great and pretty comparable skills wise, but the velocity of their shots was just ridiculous. But she could do the skills just as well as those guys. And so that talent and that mindset to be able to know as you're skating and turning and pivoting, to have the puck right there, like it's just caressed in your hand. It's so impressive to watch that. And I'm sure when you see speed skaters at a high level skating by and it looks really easy, it isn't, but it's not easy, but it looks easy because of the skill and the hours and hours of practice to get to that level.
We just talked about the hours of practice and all that goes into it. And you growing up, obviously you talked about it. You didn't have a lot of money. You're working at McDonald's. I read somewhere you were eating out of a garbage bin, at one point in your life because you guys just didn't have a lot of money. You're at Home Depot, but you finally get to the Olympics. First of all, you make the team to be on the team. That had to have been absolutely huge. And then the belief system that you have that you're like, I can win this. I can get this done. And 9/11 happens, and you're carrying that flag into you were the bearer of the 9/11 flag. I mean, what was that moment like? How emotional was it? And, just how good did you feel walking into that stadium for the first time going, yeah, I'm here, baby?
There was a lot that happened that came to that moment, and I'm going to try not to get emotional. I typically do. In 98, I made the team. It was my first games, but I got the last spot, so I thought. But then the day before the race, the pairing list came out, and I was bumped from the last starting position to the first reserve because a skater's team had misentered his time. So I'm in Japan at the venue, got all my gear and everything, and I couldn't race. I was devastated. I thought that was my last year. I'd skate. I was 28 years old. I was basically broke at the games. But I went to the opening ceremonies and I saw the bells and whistles. And honestly, my only thought of getting into the sport, I knew I didn't have any delusions, of winning a medal in my first games after coming from inlines. But my goal was to walk behind my country's flag. I've always felt very patriotic, always putting on the stars and stripes to race at a world championship. So to walk in behind my country's flag was a dream come true. Walked in the stadium, all the bells and whistles again. But I wasn't satisfied, as you can imagine. I came back, got the job at Home Depot, and decided to go 4 more years. So in those 4 years, again, a lot happens, right? And then I get to about September 11th. I remember I was going home to Florida. I was living in Florida at the time to see my then wife, who was pregnant with my daughter, who's now 24. But I woke up and the world changed, right? The world changed. I remember being stuck in Florida for 10 days. Airspace was restricted. And I tell you, I didn't want to be a speed skater. I was so ashamed and embarrassed that my life, the meaning of my life was literally going around in circles. So I came back to Utah after the 10-day, hiatus in Florida, and the airspace was opened up again. I came back and I quit speed skating.
Wow.
I went to my coach and said, I can't do this. Because we got on the ice and I tried to do a workout, and all I could see was the images of those people in my mind. And I felt like I'm doing this stupid sport. I'm skating around for nothing, and people's families are being pulled out of the rubble. And I went to Home Depot. I told them I didn't want to be in that job either, to give to somebody else for that support, because I didn't think I'd be there in 5.5 months or 5 months. So I got with some sports psychologists, a number of them that were calling my phone from the U.S. Olympic Committee, trying to get me back on track. And in my meetings, my answer that I came up with, or that we came up with, was that if I was going to skate in 02, it wasn't going to be about me. It was going to be about those victims and the families that were left behind. So every time I went into a practice, I had a bad practice or a bad bike ride or whatever it was, I always thought of those people. And that the memory of them and the mantra of their importance in my life and their significance in all this really brought me back to the sport and to a high level. So here we are. The games are here. There's images of athletes all over, wrapped around the buildings of Salt Lake, and I'm going to go to the opening. I wasn't going to the opening ceremonies because that was the very first race the next day, the 5,000, and I get a call from a guy named Greg Harney from the Olympic Committee and says, "Hey, Derek, I had the best time for you, but you've been voted by your peers on the Olympic team, the U.S. Olympic team, to be one of the 8 to carry that flag in, the World Trade Center flag in. Do you want to accept?" And, without any hesitation, I said, absolutely yes. Because to me, it meant something. It was meant to be. I said, yes, absolutely. I quickly tried to find the best way to get in and out of the stadium, but Tyson holding that flag, that medal ceremony defined my games. It defined my life. It was a moment that I think stood still because everybody in that stadium, let alone the world and the millions of people watching on TV, were experiencing that same emotional moment when that flag came out. We didn't know what to do. When I touched the flag for the first time, we were all rubbing our fingers on it, and it was like our soul was being touched. That moment changed my life. It impacted me so much that the next day when I came out to my 5,000 meter race, which I had never been the top 10 in that distance ever, I was on the ice. And I felt a presence on the ice. I felt a pocket of warm air wherever I went. I felt there was someone out there with me. And even on the night before, with holding the flag, when a gust of wind came out and it was blowing out of our hands, I swear to you, hand to God, I heard voices of someone saying to me, like, we're with you, like we were behind you. So leaving that night, coming back the next morning, being on the ice, having this presence around me, I skated a 15-second personal in a race that I wasn't supposed to medal in, and I got a silver medal and briefly held the world record. So then 10 days later, I come back with that same feeling, that same appreciation for life. My daughter was just born. I was finally living my dream. No one was going to take this opportunity away from me. I felt like I was there in the place of so many people that I just went out and I went after that 1,500 meter, and the rest is history, as they say. But it was that moment has forever impacted my life and the way I treat people, the way I see my everyday existence and those around me. I'm sorry.
No, you and me both. Holy cow. I can't even imagine the adrenaline, the emotion, when you're on that starting line and you just experienced all of that. So then I got to ask you, next, you're standing on that podium and you're hearing your national anthem. for the first time. What was that like?
Definitely unique for every athlete, right? Because you have 10 different athletes getting there 10 different ways. And so I knew how I got there. I knew it was because of the people around me. And like I told you the stories of the parents and the people that were taking me to the roller rink when my dad wouldn't take me, or finding me a way to skate another practice or go to another meet or whatever it was. So I'm on that podium. I remember seeing the flag being raised in the distance, just above the other two flags. And you would assume that moment's about you, about your performance, but it wasn't for me. I remember seeing the flag going up, and what was unique about my ceremony, my medal ceremony, is that when the national anthem started playing, someone in the front of this amphitheater-like stadium downtown Salt Lake, someone in the crowd in front of me started singing the American national anthem. And as the song went on, it grew, like the people singing the national anthem grew. So as I'm looking up, I can see more and more people starting to move their mouths in unison to the American national anthem. And by midway through, everyone in that stadium was singing the American national anthem, whether you were German or American or whatever it was. And I could feel the volume of those voices on my chest. And I blinked for a second. And in that second, I saw all the faces of every person who ever helped me from the time I was 14 years old, and I went out and raced that stupid ticket for a free drink in a snack bar, race that day. And it was so overwhelming to see these just images popping in front of my face and the split second memories that went along with it. And it felt like my heart was just getting pumped full of air. If you can imagine a balloon being blown up, it just kept getting bigger and bigger. And then I just lost it all at the end with so much emotion coming out. Here it is 20-something years later, and I still feel that emotion because I would not be here. I would not be here if it wasn't for those people. The impact that we all have around each other is so important, and that those words can be positive or negative. The impact that we have with our actions, and so that's why I love being here now and building with skaters. Youth hockey, figure skating, speed skating, curling. The opportunity we have here as a legacy program to enhance that vision or that dream of possibilities and belief for the children that are coming up. That to me is my life.
Wow. Well, there's no one better.
From that moment.
There's no one better for it. They were singing for you on that day, and oh man, that is so powerful. So now, like when you see kids, I mean, because you were a kid. First of all, how many times do you go back and watch that whole thing on video or what? I don't know if it's, where it lives, but I'm sure you've watched it a few times before because that is so incredible. And more importantly, hockey's always a team game, right? This is individual. You don't, I know you have teammates and you have, support and help and a coach and all that, but you're out on that ice. You have a bad day. You have only you to blame. But now moving forward, the advice that you give, because you can be the poster boy of speaking and following and adversity and scratching and clawing to reach your goals and your dreams. So, now when you talk to kids, what do you tell them?
I think my biggest thing that I speak of is usually just belief, because there aren't, back in my day and maybe your day, there weren't a lot of people that were saying, believe in yourself. It was always just, go work hard for it kind of a thing. But I think you don't, confidence is the hardest thing to gain and the easiest thing to lose, if you agree with that, right?
Yes.
You could be playing great and all of a sudden you're like, oh no, what am I doing? It's the same in speed skating. It's the same in life sometimes. So I really try to preach to these kids that, you might have a bad day, but it's a glimpse. It's a slide in your life. It doesn't hold a lot. But it's on that one day at that one time. Maybe you had a bad race. You also could have a good race. But it's what you learn from those experiences that's important. And the belief that you can get in yourself and through your teammates is what's important. Yes, we are an individual sport, but we train as a team. 99% of the laps that I did in my career were with teammates. And then the races are by myself. But it's the support you have from your teammates that allows you to get that speed and carry that speed longer. So when I win, they win. And we have this saying since I went to Virgil Dooley back in '88, we're only as fast as our slowest skater, or only as strong as our weakest skater. So we always used to try to help our younger kids get better. I'd be on a bike ride and I'd drop back and go push a little 14-year-old to stay in the pace longer. Made me stronger because I'm pushing someone, made him better because he lasted longer. And that's how we, created our team bond. So in our groups today, same kind of thing. I try to have sprinters work with all around skaters, distance skaters to maximize our numbers. But in the end, it comes down to like building that confidence, having faith in yourself and believing in yourself, so that when you go to the line, you have a better performance because you have that confidence. And you see visualization. I mean, there's so many things that go along with it today, but more importantly, I think from the inside out is you got to have that belief inside that this is possible. It's not going to be easy, but it's an opportunity that's possible. And you have to be willing to go out and chase that to see where you are and keep climbing that ladder.
I always tell kids that if you don't believe in yourself, I mean, who possibly else is going to believe in you, right? If you're carrying that around and you're out there on the ice and you don't believe, I mean, it shows body language, all of it, right? And how could anyone else, how could a scout, how could a coach believe in you if you don't? But you're right. You can go down a rabbit hole in a hurry. So we have the Olympics coming up right around the corner. That's why we wanted to have you on the show. One of the coolest stories we've ever had on this podcast. So thank you for that. But how excited are you for, I know the Olympics we'll all be watching. I know you will be. I'll be watching hockey, Team Canada. So excited for that. I hope Team USA actually wins finally, just so we can see another miracle, a sequel to it, right? But that's beside that's beside the point. I'm already looking forward to 2034 in Salt Lake. The Olympics come back. How excited are you for that? And how crazy and amazing is that going to be for the city of Salt Lake?
Yeah, I mean, can't wait to see it, right? I mean, I'm excited about the games coming up this year because I've got some skaters that I literally taught as a child that out of the club are now at the top of the world, totally winning a medal. Casey Dawson, our local right here in Park City, found him in a Get Out and Play program that we do with the Youth Sports Alliance up in Park City. The kid loved skating. He got with it. He had an engine as a child, and it's shown now. He's got a 5K World Cup win. He has the national records. Him and his team, the Team Pursuit, could win a gold. We've got some other skaters that are coming from inlining, some skaters that I've coached along the way that are inliners, like Brittany Bowe, Aaron Jackson, some medalists in the past are coming back. So definitely excited to see what the short trackers as well are going to do. We have, Kristen Santos, Griswold, who I coached at one point when we missed a coach. We have Corinne Stoddard, the relay teams of the mid. I mean, there's a lot of potential that we're really excited for. But 34, I've been more involved in the youth sports here over the last few years, in the last 10, 15 years here. And now I remember being in Paris 2 summers ago. We got the nod for the bid. And I remember getting emotional in Paris because I remember thinking about the kids that were here, the 10-year-olds that were here, that were out here skating on Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday nights, that are on the bike rides, that are doing all the things that I did back when I was a kid. Then in 9 years, the games are going to be in their backyard, in their home state, and at their home rink possibly. So I just I can't tell you the world that was opening in my head. Just like when I was 14 and thought about moving away to go chase a dream. I remember being there in the auditorium where we got the bid nod and this thinking of these 5, 10 kids like, oh my gosh, these kids could be right here in Utah. And that's just the speed skaters. I'm not even talking about the skiers and the other athletes that are around this area that in winter sports, the Nordic skiers and so on, all the kids in our park programs and on the ski mountains that are here. That to me was so, I just got so excited because that's so many possibilities inside the mind of a child. And I just don't know what the possibilities are. It's wide open. And so 9 years, well now 8 years, 7 years, we're going to see that. And I'm just excited that the people who weren't here, who didn't live here back then, people who lived here and went away for a weekend or 2 weeks because they thought it would be too crazy here, who came back and watched the events. I mean, Salt Lake blew it out of the water in 2002. I've heard nothing but great things in the 20-some years I've been speaking in corporate events that people were here, volunteerism that was here, the proximity to the events, the performances. I'm excited. It's going to be a fantastic legacy here that we've had for the last 20 some years, and then going now forward. It's just, we are very unique here in Utah, what we've done in our venues and our building and our staff, our programs. And I think, like, was it 90 athletes are from Salt Lake here that are on the Olympic team, something like that. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going off on tangents, but I'm excited.
No, I love it. So what happens? I know you worked down at the Oval there. You talked about that before we started recording. But again, Olympics coming 2034. The transformation. What I know, the Utah Hockey Club went into that Oval and kind of ripped it apart a little bit. What's going to happen? Is that where, again, the skating is going to take place, or is there going to be a new venue, or are you going to be renovating?
I know we'll do some renovation for sure. The ice is still the fastest ice on Earth. We've got 12 out of the 13 world records are set here for long track speed skating. So no one's going to touch us on the ice. The hockey club building that they put in is actually a nice addition. It'll cut out on some seating ability, but it's a very nice VIP seating area. And we'll use it for our corporate events as well. It's a great facility. They did a great job. I mean, hats off to those guys for coming here and doing that. But we will have to do some renovations for sure. We'll have to update our ice plant, new scoreboards, timing systems, some cosmetic improvements around the area, storage, because we've accumulated over the last 20 years, we've accumulated a lot of junk here, right? From just all the programs that we have.
I cannot thank you enough. I appreciate your time. We're almost 45 minutes in here. I know you probably got a ton of stuff, more important stuff to do, but thank you. Those stories were unbelievable. I know our audience is going to absolutely love it. I'm going to make sure I come down and say hi to you, and maybe we'll get on the ice together in some kind of beer league. I couldn't play when I played, but I'm looking forward to playing with you.
Hey, maybe you can sub in for me when I'll give you my jersey. It'll be a little tight on you, but you can go out there and do some really good stuff. And people put a couple of assists on them, maybe goals on the board for me. Help my stats.
Yeah, this guy forgot how to skate. This Derek guy. Who is this guy? Who gave him a jersey? I can hear it now. Well, thank you, my man. I appreciate it, and amazing stuff. Thank you. Well, Foltz, there you have it. You weren't there for it, buddy. I missed you dearly. I was flying solo in that one. You're always the best part of these podcasts for me, just because you always come up with something special. But that whole interview, that was all Derek Parra. This guy is such a solid individual. And all the kids out there that are listening and watch that, anything is possible. Literally, anything is possible. This guy goes around to businesses, to companies. He speaks. He's a public speaker. He's got an amazing story. He's got all the videos to follow up along with it when he speaks at schools and all over the valley and all over the country, and rightfully so, because that's what it's all about, right? And now he's helping young kids because he loves the sport. He is so passionate about the sport. He's teaching it. JJ Peterka was a speed skater. I'm not sure how it always transfers over. We talked about figure skating. There's so many guys that played in the National Hockey League, like a guy like Scott Niedermayer, that figure skating was a part of his background, and that's what gave him that great edge work, right? And speed skating, I think, is a little bit like that, but you could just hear the passion, right, in his voice, that whole interview. So I hope everyone really enjoyed it. I know I did. I'm still, got the Kleenex, and when this nose starts leaking, Foltz, we're in trouble. It's like Niagara Falls. So it was a good one. It was a good one.
I think a lot of it, Tyson, with those speed skaters is the quads. Like JJ's legs got so strong at a young age because of that speed skating. We would be around speed skaters from time to time at the Olympic Oval out in Kearns, where the Utah Hockey Club skated in its inaugural season. And so we would see them, and they're wearing like these, it look like wetsuits, right? I mean, they're wearing the onesie, the aerodynamic suit, but their legs, like, I don't know how they get their cake in those things, right? But their thighs are just enormous, and so I think so much of it has to do with leg strength. But a great interview, and you didn't need any help on that one. That was an interview that just fell into our lap, and glad we got it done, because I'm glad you got it done, because I was out on the slopes, Nasher. I was skiing with my dad. My parents were in town, and so we were having fun and playing hooky from practice a little bit to get up into the mountains. But Nasher, you should have seen this wreck. Because I remember hearing stories from you about how you and Doan and those guys would just fly straight down like that. That was rattling around in the back of my head a little bit. Hold on a sec. Hold on a sec here.
Oh boy, is that Matt McConnell? I can see him. Oh God, help us! Oh my God, holy! What is going on here?
What is going on?
Hey, who's the homeless guy that just walked in up the street? Hey, Maddie, I gotta tell you, I was gonna say.
No.
Maddie, I gotta tell you.
Why do you have a picture of your stuff on the wall?
Hey, not just one, Maddie. I got two. Hey, I'm in your house. Isn't this by your nightstand in your house back in Arizona?
I still have your thing out by the pool.
Hey, Maddie, someone told me the other day.
Says hi.
Hey, Maddie, get back here. Someone told me the other day that we did 994 games together, me and you.
Whoa. Wow.
We almost got to 1,000, and I'm still here.
Those are like times 2. Those are like playoff games, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Oh, I love it. Oh,
hey, I got to go see somebody.
Maddie's busy.
Say hi to Zegers for me.
Hey, Nasher, great stuff, man. We'll have to talk about the ski story next week, but this was another great show. We'll see everybody next week. Mammoth start a road trip next week, and you're coming into town in a couple weeks.
February 2nd.
Start of February, I should say. Right?
February 2nd, Foltz. That's our next
February
show.
2nd.
We got some unbelievable guests, sneaky good guests. I cannot wait. It's going to be a ton of fun. So February 2nd, February 4th, those are the 2 next NASHCasts. I cannot wait to, again, be back in town. I'm hitting the slopes on February 3rd as well, so I cannot wait to hear your ski story, where you went, the runs that I need to hit. None of those rope toe runs, though, right? Or T-bar. I'm not into that stuff. I go right to the top, Foltz. Right to the top, and I just go balls out.
Sweet Lord.
I need one of those suits, those speed skating suits of Parra's.
I'm gonna have to get some training runs in to keep up with you, but I'm not going straight down like you guys were. I'm gonna be taking up the whole mountain. So if you see somebody who's struggling with doing pizza the whole way down, just give me a wide berth, all right?
I love it. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Follow along. NASHCast Official on Instagram, NASHCast Official on YouTube, X, all the socials. We're all over the place. You can't hide from us. Subscribe, tune in, and I hope you guys really enjoyed that interview.